But oh Lord, did he do something? Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be recapping the series finale of the HBO Max series, The Last of Us. Such a beautiful and tragic and perfect ending to this first part of the story. And isn't that just like this show? I was thinking that last night when I was watching this episode and watching the inside the episode thing that they do. And this show has been such a brilliant mix of just beautiful moments and tragic moments that all seem to just always coincide together. Now, at the top of this episode, we see a woman running through the woods, pregnant woman. And y'all, when I tell y'all, I was kind of reeling because I was like, child, this show get very dark. And I'm like, I hope they ain't finna do that to no pregnant woman. I hope they ain't finna do that to no newborn baby. I didn't know what was going on. So we see her run to like this house and she locks the door and she's calling for someone. No one is there. And she runs upstairs. She locks the door. She is actively in labor. Her water broke. And I was wondering, okay, it's an infected chasing her, right? That's why she's running through the woods, ran to this house. Baby, what was you doing out there? First of all, or maybe she was just on her way to this house. I don't know if she left the house or if she was on her way to the house. But I was like, baby, why was you out there? But when she gets to the house and she locks herself in the room, I'm saying like, it feels like the infected came straight to that door. And I'm just like, this is a big house. How did the infected know she was in this room? Shouldn't the infected have been running through the house, like looking for her? But anyway, when I tell y'all, this was really giving me a Quiet Place vibes. Like, this is a strong ass pregnant woman. A Quiet Place vibes in the sense of the woman being pregnant and under pressure and fighting for your life while you're freaking in labor. But this woman was just, oh my God. Like, I was like, who is this? I like this lady. I'm thinking, is this somebody Joel them about to run into? But then she's sitting on the floor. She has this knife. She puts a knife next to her, or kind of like drops it because she's in pain. And the infected bursts through the door, which she locked, but he is able to break it down. And as she is actively in labor, the infected comes at her. She's fighting them off, and she gets the knife and she's finally able to get him. But as she gets him, the face is kind of like down where her lap is. And I'm just like, okay, wait, so she killed it, but his face, that's, the mouth, and I'm just like, wait, what's going on? And next thing you know, she hears the baby cry, and she has a shocked look, as she's fighting and stuff. I'm sure she was probably like pushing and grunting and all that stuff, so the baby ended up coming out, and for some reason, I just immediately was like, that's Ellie's mom. And sure enough, she says Ellie, she calls the baby Ellie, and I'm like, I knew it, I called it, because at first, when the episode first opens, I'm thinking this story is going to coincide and Joel and them are going to like meet up with this lady. But for some reason, as the scene was progressing, like before the baby was born, I just was like, she giving me Ellie vibes. Like for some reason, she was giving me Elle vibes. And side note, the inside episode, I discovered this is the young lady that actually voiced Ellie in the game. So that's why the spirit was there. Because I just felt like she is just like her attitude, her essence, her aura, the toughness, the way she was just fighting. I was just like, something about her is really giving me Ellie vibes. But I thought this was just so amazing. And there's a moment where the mom is like, oh, you're so tough. And I'm just like, baby, you got no idea. Like, you got no idea. Yes, she is. But unfortunately, mom notices that she was bit on her thigh. And I'm just like, I knew it when the stupid infected head was like down. So she tries to hurry up and cut the umbilical cord. And that's when it kind of like dawns on me. And I'm like, this is the immunity origin story. So I ain't no scientist, but I'm going to presume it's a situation where mom got infected before the umbilical cord was cut. And if anybody's familiar with that whole thing, the baby gets whatever the mom has through the umbilical cord, nutrients, disease, whatever the hell, it goes through that umbilical cord because they're kind of like sharing blood. Okay, I don't know the technical, but so some bit of the cordyceps must have gotten in, but not to the degree for Ellie to have changed So I just felt like, okay, they're explaining to us about how she got her immunity. And they'll give us a little bit later in the episode, which I'll get into. And this is when we see Maureen. And I'm just like, damn it, finally, we get to see Maureen again. And I really, really love her freaking character. And I feel like we did not get very much of her. But she comes in and come to find out that Ellie's mom is actually Maureen's childhood best friend. I think her name was Anna. And she pretty much tries to tell Maureen, I got bit after I cut the umbilical cord. And she's emphasizing after. And I feel like Maureen kind of looking at her like, yeah, bitch. Like, all right. But she pretty much tells Maureen to take her daughter, take her to Boston and kill her. And she says to give her that knife. And I didn't even recognize when the scene first starts and Anna has that knife. It didn't even dawn on me that was Ellie. I mean, a lot of people carry around them little, well, not a lot of people, but you know what I mean? Like them little switchblade knives. That's not anything that really rang any bells for me. I did not peep that in the slightest. But she takes the baby because mom starts to kind of twitch and she hands it to the guy in the hallway and Anna is telling her to kill her. And she's just like, Maureen is like, I can't do it. Her mom is crying and like, please. And something about this scene, I just love the way Maureen walks back in the room and shoots her. And I'm just like, oh, goddamn. Ellie. I'm so mad. Like, I wish Maureen, and I wonder I don't know if she did or not, you know, because it's stuff they don't show us every single solitary thing with the characters. But I'm like, I wish Ellie could have gotten this story about her mom. Like, she grew up an orphan, but I would like for her to know just how, like, loved her, like, she was. And just how badass her mama was. Like, she was mother freaking fighting the infected while in labor. Like, come on now, child. Now, when we get back to Joel and Elle, we see after the events of last episode that Elle is still kind of reeling from the events, kind of still processing or dealing with it. She's not quite Elle at this moment. She doesn't have that spark that she normally has. She's very sullen and quiet and aloof. Like, Joel will say stuff and he'll be like, Elle, and she just kind of be like, huh? And then we get a moment where we're trying to get up high on this building, you know, like Joel does, to see how we get across, and Elle sees this giraffe. And it was actually a family of giraffes. And it was just so beautiful. And I was just like, please don't let no people come find them. Like, leave the giraffes be. Let them live happy and peaceful. But of course, we know a lot of things have been a first for Ellie, including seeing her first monkey. And now she has seen her first giraffe. And it was just such a beautiful moment. And this was kind of the catalyst that kind of brought her back to life a bit. But I feel like what also started to bring her back to life was we have a moment where, as we have seen, the relationship between Joel and Elle has really evolved. And it started off with Joel being kind of, you know, standoffish with Elle. He was like, we don't talk about our past. We don't do that, when they was in that hallway. And it started to slowly build where it was like, okay, he cares about her. But now Joel starts to tell her the story about how he got the scar on his head. And when she first asked about the scar some episodes ago, he tells her a guy shot him and missed. And he starts to tell her this episode that the person that shot him was him. That it was like, I want to say 2 days after Sarah died, he wanted to end his life. He was ready. He just knew, you know, he was done. He had no reason to live. But outside of having that peace about his decision, for some reason he flinched. And he's like, I'm telling you this story for a reason. And she thinks she understands what that reason is. And I was thinking that during the episode, and they actually mentioned that in the Inside episode, that she thinks she understands the message as, this too shall pass. You'll get over this, because of what she just went through that was traumatic. And she goes to tell Joel, time heals all wounds, I guess. And Joel is like, no. and pretty much conveying to her, and it dawns on Elle, time did not heal this wound for Joel. Ellie healed this wound for Joel. And I really love what they said on Inside the Episode, because I've never believed in time heals all wounds. And I love the way they put it on the Inside the Episode, where the guy is like, time doesn't heal all wounds. Time helps it fade, but people heal wounds. And I just really love that. So you get this moment with Joel and Ellie's relationship connection where she is officially Joel's surrogate daughter. And they are, in the Inside Episode, we're explaining how they are, with this series and with these characters, exploring not only the beauty of love, but the dark side of it as well. And as they're talking, because they get back to getting to where they're going and walking, and Elle brings out the joke book, and we see somebody behind them who I thought was dressed up like military, and Joel did explain that this little area was something, it wasn't Fedra, it was something the military set up right after outbreak day. And I'm just like, but the flashbang goes off, they knock Joel on the head, and that been tripping me out when they just be knocking niggas on the head. But they were like, you could, like, I feel like you can die. Like, I feel like I would be dead. Like, can't my freaking brain bleed inside my skull or something? Like, I feel like that's a thing if you get knocked in the head real hard. And I'm talking about, this is the butt of a freaking gun. Like, oh, it just be really, really tripping me out how they just be hitting niggas in the head all willy-nilly. But when Joel wakes up, Maureen is there, and she said this is the hospital that Joel and Ellie were looking for. Her fireflies were on patrol and did not know who Joel was. And Joel, of course, immediately is just like, where's Elle? Maureen tells him she wasn't harmed, not even a scratch on her. She's perfectly fine. We're prepping her for surgery. And she tells Joel that he is the last person she wanted to ever be indebted to, but he got her here and she's in his debt. And she starts to say how she barely made it, and she had like 5 guys whose only job was to protect her. So how the heck did he make it? And Joel starts to, he's realizing what Maureen is saying. He's like, wait, what surgery? And Maureen says how their doctor thinks that the cordyceps has grown with Ellie since she was born. I'm going to presume that Maureen had a conversation with the doctor about the way Ellie's mom died, and how she said she cut the umbilical cord beforehand, but with Ellie's immunity, I'm pretty sure the doc and Maureen put 2 and 2 together that she didn't cut it until after. And pretty much the doctor feels like he can take out, so this is kind of how they're explaining to us how this immunity works. Now, they didn't really lay everything out, but I feel like they gave the audience enough for us to just be able to piece this part of the story together as far as Ellie's immunity. And the doctor feels like Ellie's cordyceps has grown with her since birth, so it communicates with other cordyceps in a way, so when she's bitten, it feels like she's already a cordyceps, so that's why she gets immune. And the doctor wants to take the cordyceps out, and what was y'all, I don't know all this scientific stuff. It was somewhere, did he say synthesize it? Y'all, they gonna take the cordyceps out, and then they gonna doctor some stuff up to make a cure to give to everybody, right? But and then I'm sitting here like, my immediate thought was, well, if they take this out of her, now Ellie not gonna be immune. But baby, that was the wrong immediate thought. That's the least of the side effects of this surgery. Joe's immediate thought is, but cordyceps grows in the brain. And that's when I'm like, oh shoot. So basically they have to kill Ellie. And I'm just like, wait. So of course Joel, he angry, he jumps up like, take me to her. The guy pops him in the stomach with the gun. And I'm just like, now Joel just freaking had bootleg surgery when he got stabbed in the gut. I don't know how much time has passed from them events to this, but I'm like, baby, Joel don't need to get hit in the stomach. And pretty much Maureen, I feel like, grasped the fact that this isn't which they say on the inside of the episode, this isn't the cold, hardened Joel that she has come to know. This Joel is actually, cares about Ellie. And Maureen, he says, like, you don't understand. And Maureen is like, no, I do. I understand better than anybody else. Because I was tasked with caring for her for the time she was born. And this is Ellie's best friend's child, so there is an emotional connection there. But I said Ellie's best friend? This is Maureen's best friend's child. And I'm feeling like this isn't easy for Maureen, but I feel like Maureen's thought is to do this for the greater good. And that is kind of, if I'm not mistaken, the objective of the Fireflies. They're not just here like how Joel was just trying to survive and just take care of himself and kind of singular motivated. And she's pretty much like, this is just what it is. But Joel is like, nah, my G. But she tells her two men, take him to the bridge. If he tries anything, shoot him, and give him this, which was Ellie's little pocket knife, switchblade knife that her mom left to her. And I'm seeing like, Joel, you better do something, bro. But oh Lord, did he do something? And I'm just like, man, talk about the shortest moment of victory in the history of moments of victory. Because it's like, we got here, we made it, and then we find out Ellie has to die. So this next moment, child, let me tell you, I don't know if the Fireflies is that bad or if Joel is just that good. I did not expect this. I was just like, what the? So, like, I expected Joel to fight for Ellie, of course, but the depths and lengths to which he goes. The two men are escorting Joel down the stairs, and Joel just keeps kind of stopping, he's thinking he's being hit with the weight of what's happening. We know he got that PTSD from losing his daughter, for real. And he ends up being able to take both the guys out. He takes the first guy out, is able to get his gun, take the second guy out. But I'm thinking the Fireflies is like a whole motherfucking army. So I'm like, bro, they gonna get a gunshot. Niggas is finna come running. But there is a moment where before they got here, Joel was telling Ellie, look, we don't even have to, try to find this hospital. We don't have to try and find the Fireflies. We know that there has been danger and we could run into more danger. We could just go back to Westworld with Tommy. But Ellie is like, look, we got to finish what we start. This wasn't all for nothing. At the end of this, I will follow you wherever you want to go. But we got to see this through. And along with what I was saying about this is that pivotal moment where we are right at the moment where Ellie is officially Joel's surrogate daughter. And that PTSD and that pain and that regret of that failure, Joel ain't letting Ellie out in sight. Like, he don't want to let her go. He does not want to lose her. And I feel like this moment is kind of the catalyst of really displaying to the audience how far Joel is willing to go. And one thing I really, really love about the story of this series is, again, kind of that moral ambiguity. Things aren't just black and white. Like, there's gray. And just like with Sam and his brother, where old girl was like, do you think your brother is more important than everybody else? And I'm like, hell yeah, my brother more important than everybody else because he's my brother. And that is that dark side or ugly side of love, where you are going to hold the people you love higher than everybody else. But the conundrum is, are you going to hold them higher than all of humanity? Now, Joel, I love this scene. I love the score they put to it. I love how they, like, you saw Joel walking down the hall and you saw the, what are those things called? The casing of the bullet fall, and you saw his boots and the way he was just moving. I was like, Man, but god dang, like Joe walked through this mud like a one man. Joe was in here like Terminator, bro. Like he was just taking niggas out. It was so insane. But y'all, I was with Joe. Good. I was with him for a minute, but then I was like, hold on now, Joe. Because there's a moment where he comes across one of the fireflies and he drops his gun and surrenders, and Joe still kills him. And I was like, oh, hell no. Come on now, Joe. Come on now, Joe. Hold on now, baby. Because I'm with you. And I done bonded with Elle over this trip too, but hold on now. Baby put his gun down. And he surrendered. You couldn't hit him over the head like they did you and just knock him out. Like, god dang. So Joe gets to where the surgery is. And this I thought was crazy. Joe walked in, tell them to unhook Elle, let her go. Baby, why the surgeon picks up a scalpel talking about I can't let you take her? Baby, you don't bring a scalpel to a gunfight? Like, what did you think you was gonna do? Like, that was so stupid. I thought that was so funny. Like, baby, the bullet gonna hit you before your scalpel hits him. So of course Joe kills him, and he points the gun to the nurses and he's like, unhook her, which they do. And Ellie is out, of course, because they were just about to do surgery. And I'm sitting here thinking Joe finna kill the poor little nurses, and he doesn't, because I guess they ain't want Joe to be a complete bastard to the audience. Like, we still gotta kind of feel for him and be on his side. But I sure thought Joe was gonna kill them nurses, child, because he killed that unarmed man that surrendered. Now, Joel is able to make it out, and y'all, did he kill all the fireflies? Like, are they all just gone, or is just one little unit? Because ain't Maureen the head of the firefly? Okay, child, I'm just wondering if all the fireflies gone, because we needed the fireflies. So Joe gets to the parking garage, and there's a car, and he heads over to the car, and that's when, now the whole time he's walking through the hospital, I kept thinking Maureen gonna be the one to take him out. Maureen gonna be the one to shoot him, because I know she around here somewhere, child. That's what I kept thinking. So as he was making it through, I was like, nah, I know the hell Maureen about to pop out here somewhere. But I thought she was going to be the one that shot Joel and was able to take him out. But no, we get to the parking garage, and Maureen is behind Joel. She has the gun pointed on him, and she's like, you can't save her. Like, it doesn't matter what you do or how many people you kill, you're going to get old, you're going to die, she's going to go on, and she might be ripped apart by the infected, she might be killed by raiders, and it'll be your fault for not fixing this broken world when you had the chance to. But y'all, Joe don't give a damn. And what's so interesting to me is this is just like love, right? When I remember seeing something that was like, oh, dogs don't really love you. They just need food and shelter. And my thing is, we really can't say if any species is capable. Like, we cannot say, oh, you're capable of love, but you're not. You can't even say to people, the humans in your life are capable of love. Because what is that? Like, what is that defined by? Because love, in my opinion, kind of basis of it is pretty selfish. Joe is more concerned with his selfishness of he wants to keep Elle to himself. He wants a second chance at being able to save his daughter, which Elle is now his surrogate daughter. This whole act of running up through the mud like John Wick is more about Joe than it is about Ellie. Maureen tells him, you know, this is what Elle would want. And yes, we all know as an audience, Elle would want if she, because the way Maureen did it was they did not tell Elle what was going on. Maureen was trying to tell Joe it was peaceful and she gonna just fade away. But we all know, if Maureen and a doctor would have set Ellie down and said, this is what it is, and we got to take the cordyceps out of your brain, we're going to synthesize it. Y'all, I don't know if I'm using that word right, but I think that's what they were talking about. And we'll be able to create this vaccine. Ellie would have said, I'm down. Let's do it. She would have made that sacrifice. This whole mission is not only important to Elle, but the fact of her, what was that guy named David in last episode when he was wondering how she got bit but is still alive. And he's like, are you just that effing special? Yes, Elle is that effing special. And I feel like that is a part of her drive. She was just this no-name orphan, and she finds out that she has this immunity and can possibly save the world. That matters to her. But you know what this makes me think of? This makes me think of the whole situation with Sam again, when old girl was like, it ends how it ends, or it ends how it has to. And he went through all of that, giving up that guy. He didn't give up humanity, not child. He gave up one guy. And to save his brother's life, when in the end, he actually diverted fate to, a much worse fate for his brother as far as dying. He would have died more, I guess, peacefully from leukemia. I don't know how that worked, but it ain't, he wouldn't have got, bit by the infected. So this kind of made me feel like, Joel, it is how it is. It is how it's meant to. Like, you messing with fate. Like when the girl told, oh boy, maybe your brother was just meant to die. Maybe, Joel, you messing this up. But it's making me think, is it going to be, because this is a dark show. So I don't know if at the very, 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 very end, do Ellie die? Do Joel end up losing his daughter again? I don't know. But it just made me think of that. But Maureen is telling him, look, we can still fix this. Despite what you've done. And she puts her gun down. She lets the guard down. But baby, it was me. And Maureen, Joel. I would have just shot that nigga. Elle would have had to just fall. She could survive a little fall out his arms. Baby, Joel is ruthless. I would have had to just shoot him. I wouldn't have talked to him. I would have just shot. So she starts to put her gun down. And grand opening, grand closing, child. Joel shoots Maureen. And I was so mad. Because I'm like, damn, we just got her back. Now she gone. I really like Maureen. Like, I don't know what, like, y'all, is it just me? I really like that character. And I would have really liked to get more of her. And I'm just like, God dang, he done took her out. So he shoots her because and I knew he couldn't be walking through here without his gun ready. I should have known, and Maureen should have known. He was holding Elle in his arms, and her little gown, you couldn't see this hand, which is the hand he had the gun in. He goes to put Elle in the back seat, and he hears Maureen, and he walks over to her, and she kind of pleads with him. She's like, wait, please don't. Baby Joel is like, you just gonna come out there, bang, right in the head. I'm just like, God dang, Joel. Dang, Joel. Like, God dang. So... oh, I forgot to say, when Maureen is talking to him about we can still fix this, it doesn't, even though you just did, kill all my niggas, but they end up switching to Joel driving in the car before they show us how that showdown ended. And we only can see Joel. And I'm like, is Maureen in the passenger seat? Are they about to go, on another journey to find another doctor? And that's when they show us Joel shooting her and how that ends. And I was just like, God dang, man. So Ellie ends up waking up in the back seat. And of course, she don't know what the hell going on because she was just with the motherfucking fireflies. Now she riding in the car half naked. Because she still got a little gown on. And Joel is like, take it easy. You still got the drugs in your system. And Ellie is like, hold on now, bro. Drugs? What drugs? So Joel spins this tale that, you know what, come to find out, girl, you ain't that special. It's actually a lot of people that's immune, and they was, doing these tests, and raiders came in, and I barely got you out. That's why you ain't really dressed. And of course, Elliot's like, well, was anybody hurt? What about Maureen? And Joel's just like, everybody dead. They all dead. They all gone. And Joel and Ellie, the car ends up giving out. They're headed back to Tommy, and he's like, well, the car got us, pretty far. It got us a good ways. We're going to have to hike the rest of the way. And when I tell you, this is the most Joel has ever talked about his daughter or said her name. He's talking about, his daughter, how they used to hike together, and he's comparing her and Ellie. He's like, but y'all are two completely different kids, and I think she would have liked you. And Ellie is like, I think I would have liked her too. And boy, ain't this just like love as well. Ellie takes the moment to tell Joel, remember back in Kansas City when you asked me about the first time I ever had to kill somebody? And that's when she tells him the story of Riley, her best friend, and how she wasn't the only person at the mall, and her best friend also got bit, and how her best friend said, let's just, lose our minds together. But unfortunately, Riley loses her mind, and Elle did not lose hers, and she had to kill her. And she's like, it started with Riley, then it was Tess, then it was Sam. And, she's feeling like, what was this all for? Like, that was supposed to be the end goal. That is what we were working towards. That is where we were going. That was my purpose. And Joel is just like, no, I know it feels like, but she ain't trying to hear all that. And she pretty much is like, swear to me that what you told me about the Fireflies is true. And Joel is like, I swear. And I feel like you could see it on her face. And ain't that just like love? You know good and doggone well that the person you love is lying to you. You know in your gut, but you rather just believe them. And I know Elle know he lying. Joel know he damn lying. So I guess we headed back to Tommy. Oh, y'all. This was crazy. And when I think of, now when I was, not a whole Sam situation, I was like, yeah, bro, your brother gotta die so my brother can live. But, all of humanity? I don't know, child. I don't have no kids. That's a whole different type of love. But I'm just like, nah, my child gotta die. Like, this is all of humanity. And it is also, what type of life is my child gonna have? Like, we living in the motherfreaking apocalypse. So I'm kind of feeling like, I don't know, like, Joe, I've been with you, bro. But you took this a little bit too far. But man, this has been just, we had some ups and downs. But yeah, this is so far, it's only March, my favorite series so far this year. And talk about just the most exceptional character building. Like, bro, I feel like I'm in Joe's head. No, he in my head. And Ellie too. And Anna too. Yo, I love that opening scene. I feel like I'm trying to think. Have I seen a more badass scene with a pregnant woman in labor, not just pregnant, but in labor, besides this and A Quiet Place? I'm trying to really think, because I don't think I have. Like, god dang, pregnant women, like, in labor, not just pregnant, in labor. You are in labor, fighting off an infected. Like, child, me and my baby probably would have got ate up. Because thank you so much for watching this video, for supporting the channel. Let me know in the comments, your child or all of humanity. I'll see you in the next one.